So to recap, I was talking earlier about happiness being about what's going on in our lives. So is there more positive than negative? And that's a matter of perspective and going with our lives, meaning are we essentially where we had hoped to be? Are we married? Do we have kids? Do we have a career? Do we have the kind of life that we thought that we would? And a lot of people haven't even considered that aspect of their lives. Um, to some degree, this means that happiness is a byproduct of effort, and then the fact that people have, you know, what is called time famine, and not enough time. Does that mean that we should be putting more effort into our lives or taking it easy more? And the answer is yes. Uh, there's the fact that we might want to consider that the more people that we talk to that are strangers is going to make our lives more happy, but most of us don't even want somebody sitting next to us in the plane, much less strike up a conversation with them, and uh, probably believe that they might not want to hear from us, and probably rightly so, given what we all think about interactions with strangers. And then that doesn't even take into account those people who are shy or introverted or worse, socially anxious, or worse still, have like full on social anxiety disorders. Yet the research shows that if you push through all of that, that in fact there is going to be a great better mood on the other side of it. That exercise is going to make us feel better. Yet certain types of exercise are going to make us feel much better. So if I'm doing push-ups or sit-ups, well, yeah, that's good. But if I do cardiovascular exercise for at least 20 minutes, raising my resting heart rate up by about 80%, which is not as hard as it sounds to do, then at the 20-minute mark, usually endorphin, serotonin, dopamine, which are feel-good neurochemicals, are released from the vesicles in the brain. And so that is a real solid way to improve our mood. Yet there are people who are unable to get to the gym because of COVID and it's too hot outside, or here in Minnesota, too cold most of the year to want to go jogging or whatever it is needed to get resting heart rate elevated for 20 minutes. Or let's see, what else is there? Let's say the social interactions, like developing stronger social contacts, is important. But let's face it, the idea of having a problem with our family of origin is like a running joke in our culture anyway. And a lot of people have been burned by friends or significant others and think that it's a very solid strategy to not develop close relationships. Yet, the research is real solid that says that developing solid relationships is huge. Um, Listen, there are all kinds of real simple strategies, like, for example, smiling releases neuropeptides, releases serotonin, releases endorphins, and it's uh, another seeming contradiction that I encourage people to be genuine and authentic and not smile to appease anybody else. But if you're smiling because you know that it's doing you some good, well, that's a different deal. And if other people are appeased by it, or certainly we know it's infectious. And as a matter of fact, I read something that I'll post the link to it about smiling, um, but along the way in my studies of different bits of information. I don't know where this is posted, but I'm sure you can find it. It shows that if you ask people to hold a pencil in their mouth for a particular amount of time, that they report higher levels of happiness at the end of the day than those people who are the what they call the controls. And I don't know about you, I'd probably be bothered by the fact that somebody made me hold a pencil in my mouth, so that might not work for all of us. But yeah, just the fact of well, see, that causes us to use the muscles